We're going to cover the nervous system and the special senses. Before we do that, I need to give you a broad overview of your nervous system, how it works, the different components of it, and how they're going to work together. Everything that you consider to be you is processed by your nervous system. I will be dead honest, we do not have a strong understanding of the way consciousness works. You talk to a psychology professor, they're going to give you one interpretation. You talk to a biologist, they're going to give you another. And it's just a very difficult concept to figure out the physiological and the psychological controls. A good beginning point is to understand the layout of the nervous system, the anatomy, organization, how it communicates, and how it repairs itself. The nervous system is organized through a series of motor outputs and sensory inputs. You take in some information, and you will put out some response. If you put your hand on a stove that's hot, you pull your hand away. You felt a sensory input, the heat, the pain. You have a motor response. These are going to be integrated together. You'll notice that sometimes when you put your hand on something hot, you pull your hand away before you've recognized that it's hot. Some of your nervous system is acting to protect you. There are two parts of the nervous system, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system, otherwise known as the CNS, is going to be the brain and the spinal cord. It's what's in your head and what runs down your back. The peripheral nervous system is going to be all of the nerves that branch off the central nervous system. All of those things coming off of the spinal column. The nervous system itself is made up of different neurons and what are termed glial cells. You've probably heard of neurons before, but glial cells might be a new thing. Glial cells, their role is to support the neurons. They provide protection, they provide sheathing, they provide nutrients, and they allow the nervous system to function efficiently. There are 4 types of glial cells I want you guys to understand. The astrocytes, microglial cells, ependymal cells, and oligodendrocytes. Astrocytes are star-shaped. That's the way you can recognize them. There's this green thing up in the corner here. And what they do is they anchor the neuron to the blood supply. So what is the blood bringing to neurons? Oxygen. What else is it bringing? Nutrients. So you've got to connect all of your cells to a blood supply. That's what the astrocyte does. They connect the neuron to the blood supply. Microglial cells are sort of the immune response of the nervous system. They protect against pathogens in the cerebrospinal fluid. You can get very sick in your spinal fluid. Meningitis. It can be deadly if it's in there. Heck, there are certain parasites like amoeba that will thrive in your spinal fluid. It's the microglial's job to remove those pathogens. There's these little red ones. So this environment contains a cerebrospinal fluid. Ependymal cells create that fluid, and the fluid acts like a cushion. You jar your brain around all the time. You shake your head. You experience rough jolts. You fall down. The cerebrospinal fluid provides a cushion, and it's these ependymal cells that end up that create the cerebrospinal fluid. You've got oligodendrocytes. These create an insulating layer that's also called a myelin sheath. The way the neurons work is they send a chemical signal, and you don't want that signal sort of leak out. So they contain the signal within the cell. You'll notice that they form these very long chains. So you can start a signal on one end. It follows along that long branch of the neuron that is encased by the oligodendrocytes. So we've got, to go through them, astrocytes linking to the blood supply, microglial cells that are the immune response, ependymal cells that create cerebrospinal fluid, and oligodendrocytes that create an insulating sheath around the neuron. Sheath, S-H-E-A-T-H. So those four are the cells of the central nervous system. The peripheral nervous system will contain satellite cells and Schwann cells. We've heard of Schwann before. Where have you guys heard of Schwann? James Schwann. Theodor Schwann. Theodor Schwann, cell theory. That was a long time ago. What's a cell? Thanks. Satellite cells act like astrocytes. So what's the role of the astrocyte again? Connected to the blood supply. So what it does is it sort of surrounds the neuron cells. It gives them a connection to the blood supply, draws in nutrients. It's a support cell. The Schwann cells are going to act more like the oligodendrocytes. They're going to act as an insulating layer. So satellite cells and Schwann cells are in the peripheral nervous system. So those are the two components. And I've danced around. I've gave you the support system, but I haven't really talked about the neuron itself. That was quick, right?